If we wait for things to become certain, we'll be out of business.
In times of uncertainty, and in fact at any other time, but more so, in times of uncertainty, hope is not a strategy. If we look at the business environment, one of the key things that pops up every day in my conversations with clients and just with business owners in general is the question of uncertainty. Not knowing what's going to happen when, not knowing whether there's a reversion, but more importantly than that is the uncertainty within the business itself. Because suddenly everything that we did before doesn't work in the same way. Everything that we've tried before now potentially does work, but we don't have the experience in doing it, so it's we're uncertain about how to actually challenge that, and obviously what that does is it creates anxiety. So uncertainty very quickly becomes anxiety as a result of that fear of what happens if I can't get through this, or if my business doesn't get through this. And so I think the flip side of that anxiety is the question of how resilient have businesses found themselves over the last couple of months, and more importantly in the context of our conversation is how resilient have agencies found themselves over the last couple of months. And the space of getting back into a client-facing environment will bring with it its own anxieties, probably amplified by client space anxieties as well. The opportunity for that anxiety to ramp up is potentially greater even now, especially as clients and businesses that haven't been in the market or haven't been in the market in the same way now are keen to get there as quickly as possible. And so that question of how to drive again the delivery and the consistency and the quality of delivery to market becomes a contentious point on the client side, but more so on the agency side as well.
I think it's also, I think my answer to that, and certainly we as a business have talked about this ourselves, is, you've actually got to practice. You've got to practice in the new environment. If we wait for things to become certain, we'll be out of business. It's as simple as that. So we have to practice how we do business in an uncertain environment, because it's going to be a new way of working. So it is, and it's small, it's big things, and yet it's small things. So how do we practice having a face-to-face meeting? What are the rules in terms of, there's all this talk about the value of masks. I mean, personally, I think masks are the best thing ever, and should be worn at all times, whatever you're doing. But I mean, I've already heard of agencies and clients who've been meeting, or at least after a pitch process, let's say, and they've all taken their masks off to kind of get to know each other. And, because they think that that's okay. Well, it's not okay, because we're still in this environment where we can infect each other, whether we like it or not. And it's not about whether we trust each other, it's about we don't even know half the time if we are infectious or not. So correct. Those kind of rules have to be set and have to be adhered to. And they're small things, but actually it can create an enormous amount of anxiety among agencies and clients alike, and particularly among marketing and advertising people who are by nature gregarious, social, touchy-feely people anyway. So what do you do about coffee? What do you do about snacks? What do you do about, but actually you shouldn't be doing any of those things. And if you are going to have a meeting, keep it to 20 minutes, because really after 20 minutes, it's no longer safe. It's all of those kind of things, which should hopefully make us work better and smarter, but will put everybody under strain. So what I've noticed the client is saying, on a weekly basis, you've got to be prepared you don't quite know what's going to happen the following week. So you've got to have your business in such a position that you can, to use the overtraded word now, pivot, and make the most of a situation, which means that the agencies concerned have to be able to do the same thing. And that's very important, and for agencies to be able to do. So it's interesting to see now where we are at, and their speed to market is really important because they have some very important things to do for their brand in order to achieve the goals that they've set themselves for the next 12 months. And so there's a lot of certainty there within the uncertainty, if you know what I mean.
And I think that's really crucial. I think you've touched on something quite important there. Is the time is uncertain, and as a result, we need to focus on where we can find certainty. And so again, when I look at that from a my client's perspective and the conversations I'm having with them as a coach, it's about the very simple reality that in times of uncertainty, and in fact at any other time, but more so, in times of uncertainty, hope is not a strategy.
Correct.
Hope is not something you can pin the sustainability of your revenue stream on. It is not something you can pin the effectiveness of your team on. It is not something you can pin the effectiveness of your marketing and your new business development activity. Let's not call it strategy, but activity on. And so the crucial thing is when we're running a business, and let's agree, agencies by definition are businesses. When you're running a business, the principles of business are about understanding the levers that impact things like your revenue, that impact your profitability, that impact your marketing engine. And not only are they relevant to your business, but they become transferable into your client's business, and it becomes part of what it is that you bring to the table. So that question of bringing certainty into an uncertain time is absolutely crucial right now for agencies, because the agency environment traditionally has been uncertain. It's always been uncertain around, will my client's relationship continue? Will we achieve the necessary results? What are those results that we're trying to achieve? The best strategies in the world, the best comp strats, the best strat plans, very often don't survive the sudden shift in client strategy. So that often leads to uncertainty in the client agency relationship. And so the question now becomes, what do you do as the business leader in that agency to ensure that your business model is future-proofed, that your agency is future-proofed, that your revenue stream is future-proofed? And it just really brings that debate so much stronger to the fore right now. The management of certainty through uncertain times. We can't manage the uncertainty. We can't manage what call the National Command Council is going to make tomorrow. We can't necessarily manage the call of what's going to happen in Germany or France or the UK. But we can manage what's going to happen in our own businesses as an agency. We can make the call around what is the service that we provide to clients, what is the value proposition, how do we package that up? And I think more and more, as clients start hunting for more value, it will bring more uncertainty into the client agency relationship. And something that I've seen over the last couple of weeks as well is, as more and more international agencies start to see the potential in South Africa, what dynamic are they bringing into this market that our local agencies are going to have to compete with, on either a basis of price or a basis of value or a basis of a bigger basket of service offering that brings with it international experience. Exactly.
Yeah, capabilities. Yeah, and it's really interesting, that, isn't it? And I think that's, of course, I always see everything as an opportunity. So the international agencies that we were talking about earlier, from the Far East, because South Africa is an interesting country for the East anyway. I mean, as a business hub And people are looking for places, will always look for new places to do business. And
Yeah.
Africa is, is still very appealing to many of those countries, particularly, as I say, the Indonesias, the Malaysia, Philippines. Those countries are interested in what's happening in South Africa and Africa, and of course they see South Africa often as the gateway to those other countries. So that's why I think those agencies are possibly showing interest in our market to say, okay, maybe it's time to get in there in order to get into the rest of Africa. So yeah, agencies, competition's good. I think that a competitive environment definitely builds strength and resilience within those agencies that want to do better and want to perform well in this market, and also to be treated seriously even on a global basis.
And yeah, the dynamics around that, again, bring with them obviously more uncertainty, and again just re-emphasizes the point of being very, very clear around what it is that as an agency you offer, what it is that as a business is an imperative, to again ensure your connection with your client environment is feasible, is revenue generating, is able to build the profit base of the business, and is able to build sustainability for the talent pool. Because of course now again talent becomes one of the absolute key levers in being able to deliver consistent quality to the client.
They're going to have to find a way of managing themselves to be able to work together with all the social distancing and all the protocols that they need to have in place in order to be able to continue to deliver at the level they want to deliver at. And if they can't do it, it's going to give them a lot of anxiety. Practicing how to work in this new environment becomes more and more important, because the people who are saying, no, we'll do that when it's all ended. Well, yeah, it's going to be another couple of years until it's all ended.